10 days ago, I went to a new salon to get a root touch-up, and a professional hairdresser overexposed my hair to bleach, basically causing my hair to burn off. This was me that Monday on my way to the salon, and this was me that same Monday in the evening. I think I will always remember the moment when she was shampooing my hair and she said, "Oh my God, something is very wrong." And I asked, "Are you joking?" And she said, "No, I would never joke about this." And as she showed me a piece of my melted fried hair, she told me I was going to go bald twice. I was shaking. This person was already too mortified for me to say anything. She made a good call in sense that she stopped everything. She didn't even tone my bleached hair in the hopes that she would not cause further damage. But as you can see in the clip, I basically left the salon not only with burnt off hair, but with hair that had 3 different colors. And especially the first few days, I was basically praying that I wouldn't go completely bald, that what had happened in the crown area, where you can see that my hair completely burned off, would not be extensive to the rest of my hair like she thought. So I felt doomed. I was very anxious about the situation, and unfortunately, when searching online, I realized this is a very common accident. My idea for this video is to kind of condense all the tips and everything I learned throughout this horrible hair nightmare to help someone that may be in a similar situation. We always talk about hair damage, but when your hair breaks off from a chemical burn and it's all fried, extremely dehydrated, it's basically stripped from just about anything your hair needs, there is a certain level of damage that will only be reversible with time, which is the example of the pieces that did break off. Damage is right here. Obviously it's covered, but the rest of the hair, spoiler alert, it's still here. Look, I know there are worse things in life and in the world going on right now. I'm sure no hairdresser wakes up one day and says, "Hey, today I'm going to burn off somebody's hair," but it is very traumatic. So if you're going through something like this, there is a certain number of things you can try, and at least that I tried that worked, to do some damage control. Save as much of the rest of the hair as possible. The rest of the hair is extremely fragile, like in another level of damage, almost to the point where it may break off if you're not extremely gentle. So I have a bunch of products to share with you that I think were crucial. And I really altered my routine a lot. This may be a little bit of a long video, but I'm going to be extremely detailed. How I put my hair in intensive care. Wait, I have notes. Like, I literally wrote down everything I was doing. This is a hard video for me. First of all, you cannot touch the hair. You don't want to touch it. The hair was, I cannot explain. If you had set the hair on fire, it kind of curls up like that, completely dehydrated, awful. So do not touch it. Do not touch the hair. Apply tons and tons and tons of very, very cold water. This literally makes the temperature in the hair go up. So tons of cold water kind of counteracts that. When I got home, I applied, look, like half a bottle of Olaplex number 0 on my hair, and then followed with my Olaplex number 3 hair perfector. It was extremely unfortunate that I had run out of Olaplex number 1 and number 2, which are the professional, more powerful versions of these two. But, you know, I thought, well, this is what I have right now. Now, looking back, I think I could have done something even more powerful at the time, but we'll go into that in just a second. This is like a primer. It's supposed to boost Olaplex number 3. Olaplex number 3 is a bond builder, the hair bonds that are broken by bleach. So I basically sprayed this all over. I let it sit for 10 minutes, and then I left Olaplex number 3 on my hair for, I want to say, maybe 20 minutes, I'm not sure, I was so nervous. Like now it's easy to talk to you guys looking like this, but back then I thought every time I touched my hair it was just going to fall off. That is what a professional had told me. Hopeless, but also I thought like I have nothing to lose, I need to try. After those 30 minutes, I went in with Olaplex number 4. This is the Bond Maintenance Shampoo. My hands were shaking as I was doing this. And then I left for about 5 to 10 minutes the Moroccanoil Intense Hydrating Mask. And every single moment I used cold water. So we want to close the cuticle, and cold water helps with that. And I also did it in the bathroom sink where I have a mirror and be extremely gentle. I could kind of be sure of what I was doing, whereas in the shower I'm blinded, like I cannot look at what I'm doing. And then I knew I could not go to bed with my hair wet. Normally, healthy hair is at its weakest state when it is wet. So can you imagine my fried hair wet and then tossing overnight? That would have been a big mistake. But of course, I also knew that I could not add heat to my hair. I knew that moving forward, I could not use heat at all. So what I did is use my Elgin 3900 in the cold setting, so cold air. It took me, I kid you not, hours to dry my hair that way. I did not use a brush, I did not detangle. I just used my fingers as gently as I could with cold air until it was dry. But can you believe that that first clip I showed you is my hair after all of that still looking so bad? So I was still in panic. All I could hear in my head was, you're gonna go bold, you're going to go bald. That's all I could hear. So here comes another tip. I cannot stress enough how important it is in the context of fried, extremely fragile hair. I didn't want to cause any friction during the night. I didn't want to strip it of the little hydration it had, and this one that night literally helped me sleep better, because I knew if there was anything I could do to prevent the hair from breaking off during the night, this was it, like for sure. I've recommended and talked about Lily Silk pillowcases for years, how important it is, a silk pillowcase. They are amazing. I own plenty of their products, from robes, dozens of silk pillowcases. Honestly, if you have a bestie or a daughter or a mom or whoever that just had a hair nightmare, this is actually a great gift. In this context, this makes a difference. I'm confident all of these things really started to add up, preventing the entire top of my hair falling off. I did not brush it, I did not detangle it. Like I said, I was treating this like a crystal hair that would literally fall at any second. If you had touched it, you would know I'm not even exaggerating. Anyone that saw it was in tears with me. We're just getting into the tips. I have a lot more to share with you that I did the following days that I think was incredibly helpful. But I also used silk scrunchies that night, that first night. I had a very loose, awful, but protective hairstyle, which is a loose braid. I'm a huge fan of these. Normally, you have no idea what it feels like to have these products when something this horrible happens to your hair. This type of hairbands, they're a really bad idea. You also don't want to do a bun or anything that can cause traction. In general, that's a good idea, but these first few days, it's even more important. So Lily Silk scrunchies, they're absolutely crucial. So anyways, I wake up the next day, didn't have any hairs on my silk pillowcase, so I had not done further damage to the hair. It still looked severely dehydrated and just all over wrong. I purchased this the next morning. This blouse, look how gorgeous it is. Oh, and by the way, it is also by Lily Silk. This is from their new collection. And I did my makeup. I really wanted to lift my spirit a little bit, look my best. My hair was not only ruined, it was also looking absolutely crazy because it had 3 different colors. But let me proceed with the tips that I think made a huge difference. So day 2, what I would have wanted to do is the K18 treatment, the Professional standalone treatment with the K18 Professional mist, and then the Professional molecular repair. We're going to talk about that because I did do it later on, but I did not do it on day 2. And the reason for that is my hair had been just washed the night before and blow dried with the cold shot, so with the cold air, and that had taken a very long time. I really needed my hair to rest. I didn't want to do too much to it too soon. What can I do? What can I put in my hair that feels that could never be wrong for my hair? As you know, I have hundreds of hair masks, and I thought, like, you never know about the ingredients in each one. I thought the one thing I probably cannot go wrong and that feels that my hair needs is coconut oil, virgin cold pressed coconut oil. I literally am out of it. This was about halfway through when I started with it. You guys have no idea. My hair was absorbing the coconut oil. Like, I kept putting coconut oil on my hair very, very gently. The roots that are the most damaged area, that are almost white, especially on the area that I have covered up. I'm sorry, but you've seen the images, you get the picture. The oil kept being absorbed. I was in crisis though. My mom came over. And yes, you can be an adult and still need your mommy. So I told her, like, look, that the root is dry, as if I had not applied 1 drop of coconut oil. And then the mid-lengths were oil coated and oily. The ends were just slightly dry, but not as dry as the roots that were the most damaged areas. So in a way, it felt like the coconut oil application was actually telling me which areas were more damaged. Yes, it was obvious to the eye, but it was just making it so evident. I was literally with coconut oil for over 24 hours. I applied this, of course, on my dry hair, and the hair was dry. It looks like it is wet, but I promise you it was not. It was all the huge amount of coconut oil that I had applied. The other benefit of using coconut oil as opposed to maybe another hair mask is that I just knew that this would not alter my hair color. And I just saw that the white hair that was very, very damaged would just soaking any pigment, like from any oil. So anything that looked the slightest bit like it had a little bit of pigment or color, like I was staying away from. I don't know, coconut oil just made it look like it was a little bit healthier and like a wet look, and I just look slightly better, and psychologically that was helping me. I did my makeup, I purchased this blouse because I thought maybe if I just look a little bit more put together, I just won't feel that bad about the hair, although that's easier said than done in that situation. So yeah, I left coconut oil overnight for sure. My brother called me and he said, you know what, you're going to really help someone, some of your subscribers, or some new person that runs into your video. So make a note of everything you're trying, everything you're doing. And he and my sister-in-law and my husband as well said, you know what, and my cousin, they all said the same phrase. They said, look, you've been devoting all these years to trying different hair treatments. If you cannot figure this out, then it's because it can't be. And I don't know if that's true. They were very kind words to hear, and it did kind of empower me a little bit. I was adding and adding and adding more and more coconut oil, and there was a point that I thought I would never reach when my hair actually felt like it had product, like it actually started to feel like it had coconut oil. It started to feel saturated. I just thought that would never happen because that's how depleted the area was. The next morning, my plan was to still not wash my hair for at least 72 hours. You have to remember that I had washed the hair that day and then the day after, and it had only rested those 36 hours with the coconut oil on. But I also knew that if I wanted to try the K18, the coconut oil would act as a barrier and it would not allow it to properly penetrate the hair. So I came across a couple of pictures on the K18 site and on their Instagram account that said that using the K18 Pro service, which is basically the mist and the cream, could restore 91% virgin strength and 94% virgin elasticity. So that gave me hope. And the strand of hair that they use is basically extra bleached hair. I would say mine looked even worse, but it still gave me hope. It made me relate to the picture a lot. And then I also bumped into this video that I want to show you, where it compares the way that Olaplex acts as a bond builder versus how K18 as a biomimetic molecular repair product.
The polypeptide chains run along the length of the hair fiber, interweaving like a rope to make up the inner cortex of hair. When hair gets damaged, the chains break along the length and width. Traditional bond builders temporarily reconnect disulfide bonds along the width of the hair fiber. See how the length of the protein chain still isn't reconnected?
So that's what Olaplex would do. But now it explains what K18 would do instead.
K18 works differently. It's powered by our biomimetic K18 peptide, which mimics hair keratin. The K18 peptide reconnects broken keratin chains along multiple points. See how it reinforces the length and width for holistic repair, renewing hair's core strength and elasticity.
That little video just seemed like the answer to me. I had been reading so much about the levels of damage that bleach does to the hair. So you have the molecular, more structural level where the bonds are broken. And there's also dehydration, and then there's also the lipid barrier. In a way, I had been trying to recover the lipid barrier with the coconut oil, but I had not addressed the more internal damage that was actually going to really prevent the hair from breaking off. I mean, after that video, I felt hopeful, and I thought, I have these freaking products here and I'm not even using them. Am I insane? 90% of recovering strength and elasticity, that's exactly what my hair needs. The hair in my head, don't touch your hair, don't touch your hair. You know, I need to touch it to recover it. I just need to be gentle, and I don't want to overwash the hair either. So I thought, what about just with water? And mind you, cold water. I was not using heat, not even in water. And I haven't to this date used heat on my hair ever again. We're going to talk more about that later. So with cold water, I attempted to remove as much as possible the coconut oil. And I know this was not perfect, but it felt that it had removed a fair amount of it, the amount I was comfortable with at the time, without using a clarifying shampoo that felt too harsh for my hair. So then I went in with the Aqueous Turban. I put my hair inside of this. I did not squeeze. I just allowed the Aqueous Turban on my hair to remove the excess water, and then with my hair damp, I applied the K18 Biomimetic Professional Mist. This is a professional product, and not a professional was able to get it a long time ago for one of my videos testing it out. It's usually used before getting your hair bleached or colored, but it can also be used as a standalone treatment in combination with the K18 molecular repair mask. So this is what I did with my hair damp. Always needs to be damp because water kind of swells up a little bit the hair cuticle and allows it to penetrate better. Apply about 2 to 6 sprays of this per section. My sections were really random because I, again, did not want to manipulate the hair a lot, but I still made sure that I was getting the product evenly distributed and more focus on the area that had gone on fire, let's say. It's still too soon, it's still not funny. I did that, and then you have to leave that on and do not rinse it. Once those 4 minutes go by, do not rinse it. Go in with the K18 Professional Molecular Repair Hair Mask. This one you can buy at Sephora. It's available everywhere. If you cannot get the mist, at least I think this one is a great idea. In fact, I read somewhere as I was doing my research that the more extreme the damage, the more radical and surprising the results of the K18 mask. I think this was one of the main reasons that my hair survived this nightmare, and I will become very loyal to the brand moving forward. It doesn't mean that I don't like Olaplex, but this, you guys, this is a very innovative product, and I fully believed what was explained on that video after seeing the results on my hair. Add 1 pump, rub it in your hands. You're gonna see it turn white in your hands as you're rubbing it, and you have to spread that evenly. Again, I did focus more on the more damaged area right here in the crown and the area that looked extremely white. And then on the ends, because coconut oil had taught me those were the most damaged areas, in that order, you know, first the crown, then the ends, then the mid-lengths. On average, the maximum is 3 pumps. So I waited for 4 full minutes. And then once again, I didn't want to leave my hair wet for the reasons explained earlier. Wet hair is always extremely fragile on its own, even if it's healthy. I did not attempt to detangle my wet hair at all. I did not use a brush or a detangler. I used the Elgin 3900 in the cold setting very patiently, and just using very gently my fingers as it was starting to dry for an hour or so, and then it was all dry. So much better, stronger, did not feel like straw, did not feel like all burned, did not feel like chewing gum. That comes right before the hair snaps. So all of those things were reverted with the first use. And mind you, I had not done it the correct way because there was still some coconut oil somewhere, as I had not clarified the hair with shampoo beforehand. So that gave me hope. What I did was, once my hair was dry, once again, I applied coconut oil on my dry hair. I went in. That was the one thing I knew I could condition and repair the lipid barrier of the hair, which is another thing that gets severely damaged, like I said before. Yes, that was day 3 for me. So once again, no heat, no dry shampoo, no hairspray, nothing that will dehydrate the hair. Always super gentle things. The silk scrunchies, buy the little silk ones because they have actual silk, they're not setting. And I left my hair like that on its own with the coconut oil absorbing for about 2 days. I really did not touch the hair for 2 days, and I didn't go out throughout all this time either. So 2 days go by and I thought, what else can I do to rehydrate the hair? And then I remembered I had tried hyaluronic acid, like skincare hyaluronic acid, on my ends. Amazing to rehydrate the ends. I was going to make a video about it, and I don't know why I never did. Now that my hair felt a lot stronger after 2 days, having had the standalone treatment, K18 standalone treatment on my hair, I'm going to very gently, once again, and with cold water on my bathroom sink where I can see what I'm doing in the mirror, use the Olaplex 4C. This is the clarifying shampoo that I've been using, that I knew would get rid of every last bit of the coconut oil so that it wouldn't act as a barrier. After that, rinsed the shampoo, of course, off my hair with cold water. Never a drop of hot water touched my hair. I think that was really important as well. And then I went in with a few pumps of the K18 leave-in mask. I just left it on my hair to do its magic for those 4 minutes. And once those 4 minutes went by, my hair, of course, was still damp. And that's really important when applying hyaluronic acid. It is a vehicle for water. It's exactly the same with the skin. If the hair did not contain some water in it, it's like a paradox. It can even make your hair drier. So it's important that your hair is still damp. And I applied the serum just like you would maybe an oil, rub it in my hands. And I focused, of course, on the crown and all the damaged area and the ends, and then just a little bit on the other parts. And I would say after maybe 15 minutes, one more time, I proceeded with the cold shot and took all the time in the world to really dry the hair. No brush, no nothing that would cause mechanical damage. I was very happy that I noticed that all the K18 was paying off. There was barely a hair or two left on my hands, so I was not experiencing further hair loss. It looked so much better at this point. The one thing that kept psychologically bugging me was I mean, it still does look pretty bad as far as colors. Psychologically, every time I looked at myself in the mirror was that it looked like a rainbow, like it looked like I was a crazy person. Like, I do take care of myself and I'm not used to going around looking crazy. I remembered I had the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Strengthening Treatment Oil, and I used this once the hair was dry. This does have coconut oil in it, and it's a more lightweight formula than kind of cold pressed coconut oil. This would be more like a mask, and this one was a lot more lightweight, fast absorbing, and it still did give that conditioning effect to the hair that I needed, and also seal in the hydration that I had just done with the hyaluronic acid. Yes, this is my regular facial hyaluronic acid. I took the chance because I had already tested it out on my ends and it had worked. Have incorporated that into my hair care routine. I also feel that it helps with frizz, because frizz is extremely dry hair that gets in contact with humidity in the air and looks puffy and kind of out of control. I finished this. This is a new one, actually. So these past 10 days, I've been using this quite religiously. If you don't quite like the idea of using your regular hyaluronic acid facial serum for your hair like I did, you can also try this. This I've been using the past day or two. Svarkov, this is a German brand. BC Bonacure Hyaluronic Moisture Kick. This is a leave-in spray that conditions and hydrates the hair. Contains hyaluronic acid as the name suggests, and just spray it through. I think it's a good companion for this. They're both leave-in products. You just need to leave K18 for those 4 minutes on its own to do its magic, and you can follow with this. Super good. But then I would always finish with an oil that acts as a barrier and kind of locks everything in. So my next challenge was how horrible my hair looked. It looked, let me show you pictures, but if you think the hair color looks bad now, I don't blame you, but it looked even worse. It was orange, it was a very bright yellow. It was basically untoned, over-processed highlights, which is exactly what it was. And I remembered one time during quarantine, I had attempted cap highlights, and to tone my hair, I had used, here it is, this, which is a very innovative product, also by Svarkov. This is a Chroma ID 9.5-1. I was very concerned about what I was going to do, but this is a bonding color mask, so it contains, let's say, Olaplex dupe, or the Olaplex version that this brand has. So I was confident that this would be even better, that maybe a purple shampoo must stay on your hair for 10 minutes. I literally just did it for like seconds, I think less than a minute, and I went strand by strand, only picking the ones that looked more yellow or more orange. It was craftsmanship. It was crazy, like nobody would do this, but I did it because it's my hair, and who would care about their hair as much as one does? Like nobody. So I wet the section. I went in with the K18, just maybe one spritz or two, left it on for 4 minutes. I literally set the timer for this. Then I went in with the Chroma ID Bonding Color Mask 9.5-1. I applied it there, and I kept looking at this strand in the mirror. When I noticed it was going too ashy or too, like it was already neutralized, and that took literally seconds, because we're talking about when I just saw that it looked a little bit more neutral, I proceeded to rinse it, all of this in the bathroom sink in front of the mirror. So section by section I did that, and the result is more or less what you're seeing now. Then after shampooing, I applied the leave-in mask by K18. Oh, and always before the K18 leave-in mask, the Aqueous Turban to remove the excess water. Left that on without rinsing, and after 4 minutes, I went in once again with the Vichy Hyaluronic Serum that I use for my face, and then I went in finally with the Briogeo Don't Despair Repair. Well, the past 10 days have been an emotional roller coaster. I do not wish this upon anyone. I understand this is just hair, but there's something psychological with us women, probably also with men, but as a woman, I can speak for myself and my girlfriends. We all have this huge attachment with our hair. There's something about it. We grow emotionally attached to our hair. We express ourselves through our hairs, you know, with our different hairstyles, hair colors, and we do panic when they tell us we're going to go bald, especially for very superficial reasons. These things, when they happen, they also make us feel a little bit like, how could this happen in such a silly way? You know, there's no health issue involved. So anyways, I'm confident if you or anyone you know is going through this, these tips are the ones that I wish I had run into right away when this whole thing started. And I think because this is what I do on YouTube, I was very lucky that I could experiment with the best products right away. Still to this day, like I said, I have not used a single bit of heat on my hair. And yes, it's not as sexy as a professional blowout with movement and stuff, but it's also costing my hair like zero stress, zero damage. As you can see, I also changed the way I style my hair. I honestly do like to part my hair like this now. I may be using it in the future, even when I get out of this situation and the breakage actually starts growing. All in all, I'm so grateful that the worst did not happen. Honestly, I didn't even want to talk about this. I wish it had never happened. All the products mentioned throughout this video are going to be linked in the description box below. Share with me additional tips or maybe just your sympathy. I'm still a little bit shaken by this whole experience, so please be nice, and I will catch up with you all again on my next one.